Gloutak Woods is a conservation area located in the western side of the city of Holyoke, near the border with the municipality of Southampton. In 2019, a fund was awarded for the purchase and conservation of forested land adjacent to Gloutak Park on Rock Valley Road, all possible by the funds provided by the Community Preservation Act, also known as CPA.
My name is Meg Magrath-Smith, and I'm the chair of the Holyoke CPA Committee.
My name is Yoni Glogower. I'm the Holyoke Director of Conservation and Sustainability.
On Friday, April 21st, from 1 to 3 p.m., a public event will provide tours of the new trails at Gloutak Woods, enjoy of activities for children, and see the renovated natural space.
So in 2019, the city was able to acquire the land. This is a parcel, 51 acres, off of Rock Valley Road. And when we started to...
51.72 actually.
So once we acquired this land, it became a question of how do you expand access to the public so the public can enjoy it. So we had acquired this land, and thankfully we had worked with Kestrel to do it. And they had been able to put the land in conservation, which the community wanted, the local community. This was something that really worked for the Rock Valley community because they really wanted that area to be preserved. It was being used for passive recreation already. And then the following year or 2 years later, we brought in the Greenagers crew.
Yeah, it was summer of 2022 with further CPA funding. The city contracted with the organization called Greenagers. They're mostly based in the Berkshires, but they came to Holyoke and they train and lead crews of teenagers to do trail improvements and build bridges and learn all the stewardship skills. So we all felt in Holyoke that this would be the perfect fit for our CPA funding. We're improving this wonderful natural space and the trail system that already existed, but we're also training our youth and giving them a solid job opportunity. They were all paid through the summer to do this work. And really what this event is the grand unveiling to the public. The Greenagers are going to be there. They're going to show off their handiwork. We're going to walk on the bridges that they created and some new trails that were devised that fit the landscape a little better. And it's just going to be good weather and good friends and a celebration of this wonderful project that couldn't have been possible without CPA funding.
I think it's the perfect CPA project because it's something that is taking land and holding onto the character of that land for the local neighborhood, but then also giving access to the community. The fact that we then were able to use CPA funding to hire Holyoke youth to then have this skill set, trail work is something that you can do for a career. So being able to train students and have them grow this skill and be paid for their labor is just a really great use of CPA funding. Not only to then have this great trail system, but to have it developed by Holyoke youth was just a slam dunk for us. So last summer, was it also in April that they did some of the work?
So they're coming back to do some follow-up cleanup right now during the spring break week.
Yep.
So there are still some improvements to the trails that need to be finished up, and also the installation of a new kiosk that's going to have a trail map right at the entrance. So really letting people know, now we can finally really let people know it's there, know where the trails are, and where they can see certain distinct features.
When we posted the information on Facebook and started to share the event with the public, the most common question was around, well, where is this?
Exactly.
So in order to actually go to Gloutak Woods, you would go to Gloutak Park off of Rock Valley Road. You can park right where the park is. And then right past the playscape that's there, you can see the kiosk and you'll know where to enter into the woods. And the kiosk will have information about the map, that has the trail, that has information, so you know what you're doing and what your options are there. I think folks who can come on Friday, the 21st of April, to see the Greenagers crew, share their work, and get to take the tour will really enjoy being able to do that. And it's also a really kid-friendly event because it's during school vacation week from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. It's sort of an open house. People can come when they want within that time, and flexibly we'll sort of group people together and take them out on tours of the property so they can get a sense of the trails. There's a 1.25 mile loop, and there's also a vernal pool at this point of year that's only a 1/2 mile in. So there's different options for people, and it's going to be kid friendly. So we'll have a craft table, we'll have snacks, we'll have water, maybe juice. I think that we're going to have fun. It's exciting to get to show it off to the public and share it with people, because we have so many natural resources in our city that people are not aware of, and they're here, and it is a huge part of what we are offering to the community.
Gloutak Woods is one of the many ways the Community Preservation Act funding can improve spaces, facilities, resources, and different community needs like housing.
I think the community is still learning what CPA is and what we do. We've only had 5 funding cycles. We're relatively new in the city. We've expended a little over $5 million over those 5 years, and we have a project now in every single ward across the city, and it really runs the gamut. I mean, we have in every ward projects that are about historic preservation, projects that are about open space, new playgrounds that could not be renovated and replaced except for with CPA funding, because there is no line item for that in the municipal budget. We've been able to expand housing, or just bring housing that we already have up to code and keep those historic facades in place so that we're holding on to the historic character of our city. So it's a real mix of projects. So sure, we're going to restore Lady Liberty at Veterans Park, or we're going to work on the stained glass windows for City Hall, but we're also going to replace the playground at Mayor Field, and we're also going to purchase conserve land at Gloutak in Ward 5 off Rock Valley Road, and then develop it out into trails. A lot of the projects that we do are staging out. So it's not just one and done. It's, okay, we're going to put money towards initially thinking about how would we restore Scott's Tower? How would we build out the Anniversary Hill trail system? And then it's, okay, we've been able to create a whole bunch of funding using that as a leverage to now go to all these state and federal sources of funding, get additional funding, and now let's move forward into the next phase. Now let's do site work. Now let's start getting the schematics done so we can move forward with breaking ground on it. So I think it's also a staging out. CPA often doesn't just start with a project and in a single season be done. It will sort of stick with a project and slowly phase it forward over time.
Right. Yeah, I think Anniversary Hill Park is the perfect example of that. We've gotten soon to be $130,000 in CPA funding, but that initial amount has allowed us to leverage funds for a $1.715 million phase 1 project for the park. So we're getting that acceleration because we can link it with all these other funding sources that require a match. And we're able to do that now in a way that wasn't possible without our local source of funding.
The project I'm thinking of is the Wayfinders project, the Library Commons 2 across from the library. And when they came to us, they came in as an emergency application. They said, we're sort of stuck on time. We've worked with the city. They were able to come up with $250,000 in the municipal budget that they could, provide to us to try to then access this other funding. It's not enough. We don't have a high enough percentage of the overall project total in order to access, the doors closed to us. We can't access the state and federal funding that we need to move this massive project forward. We need $250,000 or we cannot move forward. It's impossible. And so CPA was able to do that. It's sort of what's called first in money. Often projects can't move forward unless they can prove that there's the community has skin in the game. They want to see a project happen enough that they're putting their own money forward. And so CPA was able to do that. That's a project that I think in total is going to be $24.6 million. And none of that would have been able to happen except for the city plus CPA coming up with that initial $500,000. So a small amount of money can then generate a lot of additional funding if you know how to leverage it right. And thankfully, we have a lot of people in the city who know how to do that, who are smart and savvy about, I have this pot of money, how can I use it to then create more?
The CPA Committee has an official website, holyokecpac.org, with multiple resources and information to explain the projects, how to apply for funding, and information explaining how CPA funds work.
I would definitely encourage everyone to go to the Holyoke CPA webpage. We have a lot of resources there. We have an interactive map where you can see all of the projects that we have funded over time, see photographs of them, read information. We have a series of videos on what CPA is, how you can access CPA funding if you have a project in the community that you're interested in seeing funded. These are projects that really across our entire city, whether it's housing or whether it is historic preservation, whether it is open space or recreation, there's so many projects across the city that we're just waiting to be brought to us.
For Holyoke Media, I am Johan Rashi Vega.